But join us on the program right now. Very pleased to have with us Congressman Blake Farenthold from the Republic of Texas. And Congressman, good evening to you, sir.
Well, good evening to you.
All right. So I guess the news leaked out yesterday that the GOP members of the House Oversight Committee going to be releasing a report, actually 3 reports, on various things related to Fast and Furious. The first report is starting to leak out 211 pages, a draft report obtained by The Hill, a quote, called on the Obama administration and the Senate to bolster the leadership of the ATF in order to move beyond the failed gun trafficking operation. What can you tell us about this report, Congressman?
Well, you know, it's a 200-plus page report, but you can add another 0 to that number pretty close when you add all the attachments and exhibits. It's going to be up on the House Government Oversight and Reform Committee website. If it isn't up there now, it should be in short order, actually documenting all the findings. This is the first of 3. This one deals with how the field operations went. The next one is going to go into how it was managed in Washington, and then the third one will be on, for lack of a better word, the cover-up. You know, we've got this one ready for press, and I would imagine we've got the next one coming out in a matter of months. But I think the final chapter and what happens is going to end up being a result of what additional documents we were able to get as a result of the contempt action the House voted against Attorney General Eric Holder.
And I understand that this report also says that the House will move, quote, soon to commence legal proceedings to enforce that contempt of Congress charge.
And I would imagine soon is we're talking weeks, not months.
Really? You know, I got to tell you, Congressman, there have been some developments, you know, related to DOJ, not necessarily related specifically to Fast and Furious, but yesterday, for instance, we learned that a judge found that the DOJ and the Obama administration should pay attorney's fees to Judicial Watch because Judicial Watch had requested under a Freedom of Information Act documents wanting to know if political appointees were involved in the decision not to prosecute the Black Panther Party case, or the new Black Panther Party case. DOJ said, no, of course not. Absolutely. We'd never do something like that. Judge found that actually the administration did do this. And you know, when you've got now a judge on the record saying that what the administration told the American people is not what actually happened, you've got this administration withholding some 1,300 documents on the flimsiest premise of executive privilege. Congressman, you can't help but wonder, what are they hiding? What don't they want to release?
Listen, it is just absolutely astounding that they're not willing to cooperate with a co-equal branch of the government or comply with the Freedom of Information Act laws. And, you know, you hear about a fine. What you don't hear about is that fine doesn't come out of anybody's salary. That comes out of the Treasury of the United States. That's our tax dollars paying those attorney's fees.
You know, Congressman, when... You know, again, this is an administration that called itself the most transparent in history, and if that is true, then it is they are transparently hiding from the truth and trying to hide the truth from the American people.
Well, you know, we're in full-blown campaign season, and my campaign speech really kind of, I think, sums it up. Is you can't judge this administration by what they say. You've got to judge them by what they do, and actions speak louder than words. And you look at things like Fast and Furious, and you just can't help but go, oh, my goodness, what have we gotten ourselves into?
Absolutely. What are you hearing, Congressman, when you're out there on the campaign trail? I mean, are folks bringing up Fast and Furious?
It's a very critical issue. You know, I'm a Texas representative, and you know, my current district includes the Rio Grande Valley, Brownsville, Texas, right on the border, and it worries everybody. And as we are seeing more and more spillover of drug violence into the United States, I have no doubt that we're going to see more of these weapons that were involved in Fast and Furious turn up involved in crime scenes in the United States. You know, the L.A. Times reported over 200 Mexican citizens have died as a result of these weapons. And you look at things just adjacent to my district in Alice, Texas. There's basically a drug war going on between rival gangs. We're seeing a lot of shootings there in Alice.
And you know, with all of that happening, you've got Felipe Calderon once again calling for more gun control laws here in the United States. It seems to me that the folks in your district would prefer some cartel control.
That's what we need. We've got plenty of laws on the book. This wouldn't have been a problem at all if the leadership of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and the higher-ups, I think all the way up through the Justice Department, had seen what was going on and say, we're letting thousands of weapons go into the hands of, at best, an organized crime group. And quite frankly, I think they fall more within the definition of terrorists than organized crime.
I'm talking about the drug cartels?
Yes.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, particularly when it comes to some of the bigger cartels.
Well, you look at how they operate, and if you cross the drug cartels, they don't just kill you. They kill you and your family.
Absolutely.
That's terrorism. That's terrorism.
Congressman, are you concerned at all that with the release of this report, the mainstream media is going to say, well, look, it doesn't say anything at all about Barack Obama or Eric Holder having knowledge of this. Therefore, issue resolved, non-story.
I think you've got additional reports coming out. You've got the second report that brings it up into to D.C. and the third report. And hopefully we'll be able to flesh out with the documents that I think there's no question that the Department of Justice is required to turn over to Congress. So I don't think this is going away, but it also indicates that the Government Oversight and Reform Committee is not just holding on to this as something to use for political fodder. We are interested in getting to the bottom of this so we can institute reforms so that things like this don't happen again. So that we understand where the communications breakdown and the management breakdown and the decision-making breakdown happen, and make sure there are policies in place, laws in place, and appropriate oversight and transparency in place so we don't do this again.
Talking with Congressman Blake Farenthold. And Congressman, again, really appreciate you coming on the program, sir. Look very much forward to reading these reports as they come out.
Well, it's been several weeks since I've been on with you. I've missed being on. So give me a holler anytime. I'm happy to visit with you.
I certainly will. Thank you again, Congressman, and we will do this again very soon.
All right, take care.
All right, you too, sir. Representative Blake Farenthold joined us tonight.